This welcome to the the show called Anchored Apart, the unseen crew. And I know you are Success. I'm Jones, but our potential viewers don't know who you are. So can you just like give a brief description of who you are, and then we'll take it off from there. Tell us about yourself.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Success Etim. Um, Professionally, I'm a former sailor or a seafarer. I started my career back in 2007, and this is almost like the only career that I've known. Um,
I know, right?
selling was enjoyable while it
Yeah.
lasted, but at some point, you grow out of that and want to do something better, which is what brought me ashore. And I've been ashore since then. I'm still in the maritime sector, but now I'm supporting the ships from shore rather than selling on them. So briefly, that's my career.
Nice. That's good to know. And just so our viewers know, I used to be a sailor as well. Like I paid my due long time ago, and now we are into other aspect of life. So, Success, can you tell me like the last time you were away from family due to you working at sea and how it felt like?
Um, I still go away to see. I still leave the family, but it's not as when I was selling as when my daily bread was dependent on selling. So let me just start by saying that because I manage ships, I still
Yeah.
go to ships to visit them. But now when I visit them, I'm visiting them as a manager. I'm a marine superintendent now. So I visit them on a management level, no longer
Mhm.
on this is where I work level. So the
Yeah.
last time I went to the ship on this is where I work level or this is where my bread is coming from,
Yeah.
um, I had gotten used to it, so to say. I think when I was selling, um, the first 2 months was always okay, in my opinion. When
Okay.
I go on board, you just know, okay, your mind is tuned that you are going there to work. So first two
Mhm.
months was always okay. But immediately after that 2 months, there is this fatigue, especially mental fatigue that sets in.
Mhm.
That you
Yeah.
start thinking about going home, you start thinking about the people you are missing at home, you start thinking about the things you would have been able to do at home and what the job is taking away from you. You know,
Mhm.
you can go sometimes weeks without seeing any land. It's just you, the ocean, and maybe a few ships that are passing you by. So um yes, the thoughts of the people at home was there, but again, remember, we had a community on board. So those people formed like a temporary family for you. It
Mhm.
was also good that we were in the same company from when we started. So at
Yeah.
least you could beat your chest to say you know maybe half the crew or at least quarter of them. So they were not like total strangers to you. Also we were mostly Nigerians, right?
Yeah.
So there was no language barrier, there was no cultural, so much of a cultural difference, and the food was also local. So that kind of helped. The addition of internet helped as well, that during your off time you could WhatsApp family, you could do a video call or an audio call just to keep in touch. But generally it was difficult. That's what I would say. It was difficult when it lasted.
I see. Yeah, I can agree to that. So, my second question for you is many people romanticize the sea, but they don't see the person behind the uniform. What is something you wish your family understood about what you do every day, or what you used to do every day, or conversely, what you wish you could explain to them about what you miss when you were away at sea?
Yeah, so statistically, almost 80 to 90% of goods that we have are carried by sea.
Yep.
They are not typically carried by me. As you know, we both sailed on LNG vessels, but we that means we provide the energy that runs the world, right?
Yeah.
And those on the container ship, they're the ones who carry most of the goods. Those on bulk carrier, cargo carry, row packs, Roro. They are the ones who carry cars and things like that. So without shipping, you wouldn't have some of the things you have on shelves in the supermarket, the cars you have in cast, and you know, when you see a car spec, you ask yourself, where is this car made? How did the car get from the place it was made to the country that you are living in? That is a seafarer behind it that nobody sees. People see the guy who is selling the car. People see the supermarket cashier. Oh, they're working so hard. They see the store manager. They're working so hard. But the unseen faces is my face. So if you've never known the reason why you have things on your shelf and you have them cheaply, is me. I'm the reason. Now, think about um, those who are caught in the midst of the war now. Seafarers, right? They are the ones who are stranded at sea for a very long time. So, what would I have loved my family to acknowledge? To acknowledge that I am the reason that they are enjoying some of the things that they enjoy. That being said, you need to sit down to explain to them. I give you an example. I met someone recently and she asked me, "What do you do for a living?" For a moment, it felt very difficult to say. So I had to bring out my phone and start by showing a picture of a ship and explaining what the ship does and
And what
who
you
I
do?
was on the ship.
Yeah.
Using pictures to say, okay, you see this person, this is the captain, this is what I used to do. Apart from the captain, you have the engineers that repair the ship. And she said to me, said, in my whole life, you are the first person I've ever met with this type of job. And that was strange because I think
Yeah.
seafaring is supposed to be popular. So
I
yeah,
know.
it was difficult, and I wish that people would begin to appreciate seafarers more than they actually do and acknowledge them.
Okay. Thank you very much. So our next question is: we often hear about resilience in this industry, but resilience often comes at a cost. What is a personal sacrifice you've made for your career that no one ever talks about? You mind sharing with us?
Um, Two things. I will start with the first. This career is very expensive.
Yeah, it is an
This
expensive
career
career.
is very expensive. It will take a lot from you. Let's start with the basic mandatory courses. Recently, a few years ago, the International Maritime Organization came up and said, now we need to renew these mandatories every 5 years. But this is not cheap. Someone has to pay for it, for the schools that are running it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And imagine that the moment you finish the course, you need to start saving money that you would need to pay the next 5 years, which of course would be more expensive than the last time. Apart from that, you graduate, you get a BSc and HND, HNC, whatever, and then you get an OOW, Officer of the Watch certification. You would think that that's where the world ends. The world doesn't end there. Now, to get promoted to a management role or mid management role as a chief officer or second engineer, now you need a new ticket. And the ticket doesn't come cheap. You need to pay money to do the ticket to register for the exams. You think you've gotten it. Now you're thinking, oh, I need to become a master. Then you need to go back to school again, and then you need to pay another money. Now, why am I saying it is expensive? Apart from the fact that you have to pay for these certifications, the time cost. there are companies who do not pay their seafarers while they are at home. So when you are doing these courses, it's from your pocket that you're paying the cost. But also, you're not even getting paid for that duration that you are doing the course. So it's a very expensive course, a very expensive career to have. That is one thing,
Yeah.
very expensive. Number two is you're going to miss out on a lot of things. Most seafarers don't have friends, and
Yeah.
it's
We don't
kind
have.
of difficult to progress in your social life because people don't see you. You miss so many opportunities. For example, an investment opportunity comes up. How do you apply for it? You are away at sea. You know, sometimes you do not have internet. Thank God that most ships have internet now.
Yeah.
But in the past, it was never like that. So it becomes difficult to have a
Yeah.
social life. And the last point I'll make is family life. How do you maintain a marriage when you are gone, say, 8 months out of 12 in a year? So your wife only sees you 2 months. There are seafarers who their children do not know them, and that's a sad reality, but it is. At the end of the day, someone needs to do this job. I still, till date, there are still seafarers whose contracts are 9 months. Imagine going away for 9 months in a year at a stretch and then come home. Some of them do maybe 1 month or 2 months, and they have to go back because they need the
Yeah.
money. It's a sad reality. So
Yeah, man. It is. It is a sad reality. Been there, seen that. Uh, our next question is how do you handle separation from family while at sea and the emotional toll it has or it had on you when you were sailing? Because I know you no longer sail. So,
so I think we underplay mental health, especially for seafarers. This connects directly to your last questions about resilience. Seafarers are seen like these guys that have to put on the resilience cap, safety consciousness, maintain situational awareness at all times. But it's difficult. This is a very difficult job to do. To go, you know how animals are being trained in a barn. They are caged in a place. To be in a place where you cannot decide what to do. You can't wake up today and say, okay, I'm tired of staying on this ship. I want to go to the other ship. And then you just cross over. No, you are stuck on this. A friend of mine used to call it a metal fish. So
metal
you are
fish.
stuck on this fish for a very long time.
Metal jail.
So how did I manage? I don't know how other seafarers manage, but I think from the beginning of the interview, I told you that I used to zone out after 2 months. It became difficult. Not that I dropped my guard, but that home calling, I don't know how to put it, but you started feeling homesick that you need to go
Mm-hmm.
home.
Homesick.
For me, it
Yeah,
was two
yeah, yeah,
months.
yeah.
So my contract used to be 4 months. So that means for the remaining 2 months was a bit of a struggle, right? Internet helped. Internet helped when it was there because you could at least call home, check up on people, and you knew how people were doing. So that was one thing that helped. In as much as internet helped, it also came with a disadvantage, in my personal opinion, because it then spoiled or destroyed the social interaction and social relationship on board. Think about an officer. I finish my watch. The next thing that is on my head, if I don't have any maintenance job planned for the day, the next thing I want to do is to go talk to the missus, to go talk to brothers and sisters. That means I am not socializing with people, right? So
Yeah.
that kind of limited social interaction with the immediate people that you had on board. That's one thing I think the internet does. But that was one coping mechanism. Two was shore leave. So every time you went to a port that allowed shore leave, which I think seafarers should be entitled everywhere in the world. I know some
All right.
countries are not safe, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
something that I would really advocate for seafarers, because some of these guys, before they get to your territory, have been on board for maybe 2 months, 1 month, 3 weeks. They've not, their legs have not come ashore. It would be in good faith to let them go, explore your city, buy some stuff if they need, and then they come back to the vessel. That kind of gives them relaxation. There
Uh-huh.
are other things people used to do. Some people could drink. Some companies now have tried to curtail that just so that people don't get intoxicated and have an accident. But I
Yeah.
still think having a dry ship is not a very good thing. At least the rationing that some companies do, I think, helps. I don't drink, but for those who do, I think it helps them. On a dry ship, I hear a lot of people complaining.
I see. Drinking helps, and then it also has its downside that we have to be conscious of.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Then our next question is there is a phrase that the show is called Anchored Apart, and it refers to the distance between seafarers and their families. Can you share a moment when that was the heaviest, or when you realize the true cost of this lifestyle on your relationship in the past? Do you mind walking us through that time?
A personal experience for me would be 2nd of May, 2016. Um, that's the day my dad had an heart attack. Um, I don't think people can, or I can put words to it, that someone that is so dear to you is going through pain and you are not there to assist. Like, and there is nothing you can do about it. Even if you made the request to sign off, the ship is at sea. They can't sign you off while the ship is at sea. You have to bet somewhere or anchor somewhere, yeah, to get off. So I received the news that dad wasn't feeling well. And the next thing I heard was he suffered a heart attack. You know, he had to be rushed to the hospital. A lot of things had to be done. In that state, you are thinking to yourself, what am I doing with this career? If I was assured, I could have told my manager I have an emergency at home and then I will be, heading home. If I can't get there same day, at least the next day by flight or by whatever, I would have gotten there to assist, to support, to give that emotional support, not just to him, to my immediate family, especially my younger one. But to not be able to do that was heartbreaking for
Mm,
me. That's
mm.
one very um, direct example that I can remember. People have also suffered such things in relationships, that may not be family related. Some people have lost relationship that could have. I met a guy in Kuwait. One day we went for a discharge operation there, and I met a guy, and he was a terminal representative. So we're just having a discussion, and he told me how, according to him, he said this job destroyed my marriage. Because he was never around, and that's the sad reality that a lot of seafarers go through, and people need to start acknowledging them and giving them the accolades that they deserve. Think about COVID. Who was most impacted apart from the health? So everyone was shouting healthcare workers, healthcare workers.
Everybody
The
remember the
nose
statement.
mask, the hand gloves, the sanitizers, all the things that were used during that
All over
period,
the world.
including the vaccines. How did it get to your country? Most of them came by sea. So we need to start acknowledging seafarers and giving them their due respect or accolades.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Now we are going to move to a very sensitive subtopic, and it's the system exploitation. And we want to see how we can address some unfair treatment in the maritime industry that I know. At least we've been on both sides, right? On the attack and the defense. All right, so our first question is we know that crewing agencies and shipping companies hold immense power over seafarers. That is a fact. seafarers' careers without naming names. Can you describe a situation where you felt trapped, powerless, or treated unfairly by the system and what that felt like?
Yeah, so I'm not going to share anything that is personal. I'll just
Yeah.
generalize it just
Mhm.
for company protection.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so we already mentioned that this course is very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
That means every seafarer is always looking up to the next rank. That if I spend my money and then do all these courses, get the certification,
Mm-hmm.
and then the company promises that once you get your ticket and then you get an appraisal from a master, you know, that you can be promoted, you will be considered. But then what happens? Politics comes in. Yes, almost every organization has politics embedded in their system.
Yep.
But I,
Very
I
true.
think that seafarers deserve their due. If someone has put in the work, if someone has taken his career seriously, get his ticket when he needs to, he should be promoted. I don't see why um, people get stagnated, especially for a very long time. We have very good seafarers who sometimes just get fed up and leave to other companies just to start from the bottom again because this new company does not know you. So I think that's one of the unfair system. Before I even talk about the finances, so one is stagnation in a certain rank, that you're not promoting somebody simply because the person is not playing the office politics. I think is wrong. I am an advocate for promoting people. I don't see why someone should do um, a third officer role more than 3 trips, in my opinion. If he gets his training right, gets his
Uh,
appraisal, he should be promoted. Same for
exactly.
second mate. I don't see why he should get stuck on that rank for more than maximum 6 trips. For me, it should be 4 trips, and then he should be promoted. Again, you have to understand that if you don't promote people, then they lose motivation. One master explained it to me this way. He said, when you are newly promoted, you're on an upward trajectory like this. After a while, you become flat.
But yeah,
You just, because everything is now routine, so you become flat. And after a period of time, if you remain on that same rank, then you start declining. Now you
declining.
don't really care because the job is second nature. That's where complacency sets in, and
That's
that's
it.
where
And then
accident
accidents
happens.
happen.
So
Yeah.
that's one. Two is the pay. If you meet a seafarer, look for any master who was at sea in, for example, 1985. Ask him how much he earned as a master. Then look for a master today and ask the master how much he is earning today. Considering the inflation in 1985 and the inflation now, you would find out that there is no big difference between their pay. Surprisingly, the master of 2026 might be earning less than the master of 1985. So
Yeah.
our pay doesn't increase or follow inflation. So seafarers are kind of stagnated when it comes to the pay. So now combine the fact that you're not getting the promotion and then now you're being shortchanged with the pay. I don't think it's right. Final point I would add is length of contracts. It's not even the length, so to say, is crewing agencies honoring the contract. So you give me a 3 on 3 off contract, but then after 3 months, you are telling me you cannot find a relief for me.
Relief. Yeah.
That's not supposed to be my
You're forced to stay
business.
longer.
And then you come
The-
with, oh, if you stay extra 1 week or more than 1 week, then we pay you long-term bonus. I don't need a long-term bonus. I need to get up.
exactly. Exactly.
Because you will realize that if you make that request, sometimes it is
They
not
won't honor
honored.
it. Yeah, they will not honor
They don't.
it. Oh my god. What happened? Okay, where you go? Oh, we lost success. I don't know what happened. Damn. And I was enjoying this show. Woohoo. Hello, my good friend. Welcome
Yeah,
back.
apologies. Let
All
me
right.
switch on my camera.
Yeah, sorry about that. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. Apologies to
It's all right.
your audience.
No
So,
worries.
I was just talking about the agencies not honoring their contract. So, if you
Yeah.
give someone a contract, he has a plan in his mind of when he wants to be home and when he would want to go back to sea. We should try to honor it, and seafarers' contract shouldn't be that long. And finally, seafarers should be paid their dues, whether they are at sea or they are at home. They should be paid. They are human beings, because when you don't pay people while they are at home, it gives them the urge to want to run back to sea just so that they can earn a living.
Yeah, that's very true. Seafarers should be paid, and for me, I would say that seafarers are kind of underpaid because
Yeah.
if you look at the risk ratio of a seafarer compared to someone who works in the office, like
Hmm.
you are literally on top of a hazard. You are on top of the water in the middle of nowhere, and then your life is dependent on the compass. So such a person should be paid heavily. That's what I think personally.
I agree. I agree. And they deserve it. They deserve
They
it.
deserve it. They deserve it. Okay, our next question is there are stories of seafarers being denied medical care, stranded without pay, or forced to work under unsafe conditions. Why do you think these stories stay unseen? What keeps people from speaking out?
Um, while the seafarer population is large, it is also growing. So there is a competition. People are looking for jobs. A lot of times I have these emails. I believe you get the same. People message you on LinkedIn. Oh, please, can you help me with a job? Oh, please, can you help me with a job? I just got my certificate. So people are looking for jobs. Now, if you already have a job and the company is a dodgy company, maybe one of these companies that carries a flag of convenience. I know the industry is trying to really purge those things out. But if you have a job, but they don't supply you with PPEs that you need to do your job, you wouldn't think that, oh, I'm quitting this job, or I'm going to go and shout that they're not giving me PPE, because you are scared of being victimized. And that victimization can come in form of next time they will not call you. Remember, not every seafarer is a staff of the company. They are just agency
Yeah,
workers.
yeah, yeah,
So next time the agency with this guy, he complains too much. He's always saying he doesn't have gloves. He's always saying he doesn't have helmet. I've seen cases where the seafarer have to buy his own PPE.
yeah. That's
It
sad.
shouldn't be. It's like saying during COVID, nurses or doctors should buy their gloves, should buy their mask. No, this thing should be provided to the staff to enable him do his work and do it safely. And that's why you would continue to see that we have more incident and accident rates higher than the aviation industry. I think in terms of comparison of industry, aviation is the one that we always try to benchmark to. They have a
Mm-hmm.
higher safety standard than we do because you don't joke there when you carry these things and fly into the air. And that's one thing that seafarers need to every company needs to come to that standard where they acknowledge the risk that abound on board and they provide seafarers with the necessary um,
PPE.
PPE, protective
Mm-hmm.
equipment that they need to do their job. I mean, that's the so you cannot ask me to be safe when you are not providing the things that can protect me. It's a basic knowledge within the industry. Things are improving, but I still know there are some dodgy companies out there.
I know. All right. Then, if you could change one thing about how seafarers are recruited, treated, or supported by these companies, what would it be? Not what should happen, but what must happen to stop the suffering that I have witnessed it, you have witnessed it. So, what can you suggest
Um,
to be simple?
First thing I would suggest is seafarer training. I think that some people suffer unnecessarily. I was speaking to a friend of mine who went somewhere to do his ticket, and you'll be surprised how easy it was. So I was very upset. Why does one country, so we all use our standard of training is the STCW, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
While in some places their orals are three questions and you are done. You come to the UK and then you have to write exams, you have to do orals, and the orals will last for 1 hour, 2 hours, and you will still fail,
Yeah,
But when you go to sea, you are sharing the sea with people
people
who will
that
only
did not.
ask three questions
Yeah, yeah.
during their orals. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we should make it make sense. Answering questions or cramming rules of the road in front of an examiner doesn't show that I'm a good seafarer. Most of the things are hands-on. You would learn them on board. So
Yeah,
my advocacy would be that the standard of training should be the same for everyone. In my opinion, there should be a portal where oral questions are for all the countries. Everyone should follow the same system because at the end of the day, we all get a COC and we come to the
exactly.
same C. So one
Same thing.
standard shouldn't
One
be
ocean
higher than the other. It
or the
should
other.
be
Yeah.
parallel for everybody. I don't care your nationality or where your school is at. It should be the same so that people are treated fairly. Secondly, there are some schools who they don't do the upgrade the way the UK system or the Indian system does. Once you graduate as a seafarer, your next COC depends on your sea time. You don't need to come back and sit an exams. So why do we have those discrepancies? So you now see that people who are struggling in the UK tend to go elsewhere and get the same ticket. So are
Yeah,
you saying
exactly.
that they are now more qualified or they are now qualified because they went there to get it and they couldn't get it in the UK? So
Mm.
that's one advocacy that I would make. Number two, if I was supposed to suggest anything, is that there should be a system where seafarers' pay are monitored directly from companies. No one should go to sea and have to be thinking whether the company would pay them
Paying them
or
or
would
not.
not pay them. Thankfully, since I started my career, I'm going to be honest, I've never been owed since I started my career. But that's not the story of some people. There are
Yeah.
people who go to sea for 6 months, they are almost begging for their salary. They are almost begging for uh, food, you know, um, on board the vessel. These should be things that are just natural. Port state controls need to step up, not just to come to the ship and do an inspection, checking the condition of the ship. What of the condition of the humans?
Expiring date of
Yeah,
good for
that's not the only thing to check. You need to check on the
I
humans,
know, I
because for
know,
every
right?
observation you find now, we've started doing things that we say human element. So for every observation, there is a human behind it, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's a system failure, someone designed that system. So for every
Mm.
observation, for every incident, there is a human involvement in it. So we need to start caring about the human that makes those things possible.
Okay. So I have a very um, it's a very sensitive question.
Okay.
I know that at sea, I've worked at sea before, you know. I know that at sea, people are paid according to their race. What is your take on that?
Um, so I get why some companies do this. I get it. This is the argument is that this is based on the standard of living in a country. Now, this standard of living is a good argument. I agree with it, but I'm coming. I agree with it. So the standard of living in, for the sake of discussion, a first world country would be different from the standard of living in a third world country.
Yeah.
So the pay is then graded based on that. I think, to call it out, in my opinion, that is racist. And I will explain. If we want to go by that, then if a third world citizen travels to a first world country to sit for his ticket, he should pay a third world
What?
price for that ticket. That's when it would be fair and balanced,
Very
because
true.
I shouldn't spend the same money that someone spends, and when we go to sea with the same ticket, we end up with a pay disparity. I don't think it's right. How can we close this gap? My personal opinion, based on what we've discussed about the standard of training, people should be paid based
Exactly,
on their standard of
exactly.
training. So if you get your ticket from a place that is very difficult, your pay should match that country.
That
I don't care
difficult.
where you live,
Exactly.
because you traveled there to go and do the ticket.
Oh
That's my opinion. Now, if
man.
you get your ticket from also a smaller, less difficult country, then you should be
That?
paid based on that. The salary should be benchmarked to your COC, not
Yeah,
your skin color.
your COC origin origin of
Yeah,
COC.
yeah, yeah. Your state or country of origin of your
Of
COC.
your
It should be benchmarked to
COC.
there. Again, don't forget, it
Oh
is
my
not
god.
every third world citizen that lives in a third world.
The third world.
Most of them have relocated, but if you pay them
Exactly.
based on their skin color or their
I know,
surnames,
I
you're
know.
going to be shortpaying them. Meanwhile, that standard of living that you talked about, they are paying the same standard of living that, like other nationalities or where they live, but then their pay doesn't match. So I think that
That
disparity in
practice.
pay
Yeah,
should
yeah.
be looked at
To be
and
looked into.
corrected and
Yeah.
corrected.
And then I think it should be looked into because like I've always like it doesn't make sense. Like the International Labor Organization should as a matter of urgency in collaboration with IMO and all the maritime stakeholders, they should really look into this disparity in pay according
Yeah.
to
Also,
skill.
there's one more point. You currently in the industry, I don't know if you're saying, but at some point, you see that the people on the highest tier of payment tend to lose their jobs, because every company wants to make profit, isn't it? So
Yeah.
why should I employ a master and pay him um 1x the amount I would pay another nationality. If I can get someone, they would do the same job.
The
So if
same
I
job
can
and
get
pay
Jones
cheaper.
to come and do the job of success for half the
For
price,
half the
I will
price. Why
employ
not?
Jones. So that means success become redundant, or in the industry they say success has become too expensive. That's the
Yeah, too
word they use
expensive.
in the
Yeah,
industry. They've
the
become too
fancy word.
expensive.
Fancy
So
word.
it shouldn't be because of that pay disparity. Some people are so low down the ladder, some people are so high up the ladder. So companies tend to now start turning towards those that are on the lower rank of the ladder and employ those ones, while the
Hmm,
people up there start losing their jobs.
I see. Thank you very much for coming to Anchor Apart the Unseen Crew. I don't want to take too much of your time. I think we've exhausted all the questions for today. And then these final words are for the family members of people that are still at sea. So, to the families watching who are waiting for their loved ones to return, or the young sailors considering this career, what is one message you want to leave them with? What do you want the world to understand about the unseen crew?
Okay, message number one to the families of seafarers. We just want to say that we thank you. We appreciate you for your patience with them, for the birthdays they've missed, for the family social gatherings that they've missed, for all the times that you've expected us to be there and we were not there. We just thank you for your patience with us. Understand that your brother, your sister, your husband, your wife, they are contributing to the world. They are the people making the world go round. At the beginning, I already said 80 to 90% of goods are moved by sea.
I
We
see.
make
Yeah.
the world an easier place. We make your life easier. We bring the lotion, the bathing soap, the kitchen utensils. We are the one who
The
brings those things
bleaching cream,
around.
everything.
So understand that your loved one is doing the Lord's work. We are doing what we are supposed to do to make the world continue to move. That is message number one. To seafarers out there, I know we always, celebrate you guys once a year. I think we should celebrate you every year. You
We
have a
celebrate it
difficult
like
career.
Mother's Day.
Yeah,
Mothers should have as many Mother's Day as possible, just
we
like we
have
have
just
Mother's
one.
Day.
We have just one.
Yeah, yeah.
So understand that you are doing a very difficult job. We put you in very difficult circumstances where you are not even guaranteed that you would come back home, but you do the job anyway. Thank you for your service. Thank you for all that you do to maintain your mental health, to ensure that you remain sane while you're carrying out your job. We appreciate you and we will continue to advocate for you from this side. I
Mhm.
believe that this is why
Right.
June started this Anchored Corner, to try and act as advocates for those that are left at sea. You are not alone. We will never leave you alone. And
We'll never
finally,
leave
to
you.
those who are considering going into this career, this seafaring is a rewarding career. Can it be improved? Yes, just like any other industry. But
Mhm.
you would have a rewarding career. You would see the world. You would tour the world.
You tour
I
the
mean,
world. You
you
go
you
to
would you
over
would
50
get
countries.
you would get to see places. And I mean, if
Yeah.
you're a dead guy, I know Jones might be jealous, but if you're a dead guy, at the end of your
I'm
career, it
not.
makes sense to put a captain as a prefix to your name. Captain
Yeah,
Success or
Captain Nothing.
Engineer Jones. It makes a lot of sense. And there is life after sea. Please do
Mhm.
not think that our industry ends at sea. There is life after sea. What this career gives you is that you can come out and do anything that you would want. You can branch out into any industry, especially as an engineer. You can branch
Yeah.
out into anywhere. So do not limit yourself. Keep thinking, keep digging, keep aspiring. The world is yours for the taking. Thank you so much, Jones, for inviting me on this corner. I really enjoyed the
Thank you.
discussion.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate your presence, and I really am very grateful. You are our first host, and I mean, our first guest. And I know that as time progresses, I'm sure I'm still going to do a second coming for you. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate your insight. I know you have a lot of experience, like worldwide. I know that. So
Thank you so much, Jones. Really
the honor
appreciate
to
it.
have you here, and thank you for your insight over all the questions and your advice to people. I wish you well and enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. You too. Thank you so
All
much, Jones.
right,
Thanks for
sir.
the
Thank
time.
you. Bye
Thank you. Bye.
bye. Nice. Okay, guys, so we've come to the end of Anchored Apart, our first edition among many. See you guys. I'm going out now. Bye bye. Ooh. All right. Thank you for those that joined my live. I really appreciate. I hope to see you again. This is the first time I'm going live regarding seafarers. Keep a date with us. I will be coming back again with another interesting guest in the house, and I hope you walk on this journey with me as I try to throw a searchlight on the maritime industry and what is really happening out there and how we can make a change. I used to be a seafarer as well. I've seen it firsthand, and now I'm on the other side. So I'm trying to advocate for the seafarer so there could be some positive changes as to how they are being treated and stuff like that. So thank you very much, and see you guys later on. Bye bye.